To the soul with RGB and Mike. Anthony's here too, let's ride the hype. Bigfoot's on the run, Area 51's tight. Digging deep for truth, we ain't afraid to fight. Flat Earth theories got us spinning wild. JFK secrets hidden in the files. Illuminati whispers, flashing crooked smiles. I won't tune in, sit back and stay a while. Conspiracy chaos, we uncover the lies. Deep state shadows, yeah they can't disguise. We're cracking codes, watch the truth arise. Let the chaos reign, tearing through the skies. CIA plots under moonlight schemes. Hidden agendas ain't as crazy as they seem. Voices in the dark amplifying dreams. Conspiracy chaos, nothing's what it seems. Follow the breadcrumbs, follow the light. In the rabbit hole with us, pitch black night. RGB and Mike, guided by our might. Anthony with wisdom, out of sight. Conspiracy chaos, we uncover the lies. Deep state shadows, yeah they can't disguise. We're cracking codes, watch the truth arise. Let the chaos reign, tearing through the skies.
Let's go. We're back with another episode of Conspiracy Chaos. My name is Roger, aka RGB. Joining me as always, we got the man down south. We got Florida Mike in the building. What's happening, brother?
What up, boys?
Ain't shit, man. Ain't shit. And then, of course, the producer, Area 51, Anthony, as well. What's up, Ant?
Yo. What's going on, fellas? How you doing this evening?
Not bad, man. We got a nice little share on one of our stories yesterday from the man himself, Uncle Sammy T. Shout out Sam Tripoli for giving the Chaos Crew some love over here.
Yeah, thank you. Much love.
His post was actually something Anthony put up that kind of refers to our next guest that we'll be having on Monday. Scheduled. We're going to have Adam Shell from Brain Supreme on. So stay tuned for that episode. Follow it up. We're going to get into some UAPs with my man UAP Pod. I don't know if I got his name actually yet, but he just started a page and has some real cool content up there about some UFOs, UAPs, and that sort of thing. So we're going to dive into that world as well. But before we got recording here, we got talking some politics a little bit. We were talking about what's going on with Trump and some of the crazy shit just going on in the political side of things right now. Mikey, we were talking. You had some views on Trump. What do you think about what's going on, man?
It's still too early to say the
Yeah.
right, because we don't want to go and backfire in your face. But we're getting pretty close to hearing the word. So, if Anthony, while I'm talking about it, he can go up. I'm going to reshare it so it's at the very bottom of the page. He can pull this up. So the big beautiful bill with the no tax, no tips, no tax on overtime. As you get to like page, I don't know, it's a lot. They talk about the HR 1. It's the AI government bill. Okay. And what it pretty much is that Donald Trump is pretty much kind of like signing over the government to an AI program ran by, I think, Palantir, which everybody knows who Palantir is. If you don't, look them up. Pretty crazy. And essentially, we'll be answering to an AI. Probably, if I had to guess, I don't know, right around Agenda 2030, it should be up and running, I would imagine. And that would be just the right time about where Trump mentions how he's the last president, right? So there's something brewing. But go ahead and run that video right there. It goes a little more in depth than what I was talking about.
Today we're going to go down one of the largest rabbit holes I've ever found, and this is the replacement of the government with AI, and that's what's in this bill. Let's talk about it. So in section 43201, it talks about replacing the Department of Commerce with AI. Now the question comes with, what else do they replace with? AI. And here's where it gets really strange. It talks about in this section below that no politician or governing body may stop AI for the next 10 years or enforce any laws or regulations regulating artificial intelligence models. That's Silicon Valley owning the government. Then we find Silicon Valley manipulating the weather. Then it gets weirder when we find AI and Silicon Valley entering the healthcare system to control all of that. And you can't sue any of these companies. Isn't that odd? And this kind of reminds me of the Vaccine Protection Act signed by Reagan in 1986, protecting all the vaccine companies from damages. There were so many lawsuits that they were actually going to go out of business, but the government protected them. And it gets even deeper when we find Billy Boy Clinton in the Telecommunication Act of 1996. He passed a bill so if they put a cell phone tower in front of your house, you can't sue for any damages. Do you see how the government is kind of setting us up? And then they're going to replace the government with AI? It's kind of really strange. It's almost like Black Mirror. I don't know. So today we're going to go down one of the largest rabbit holes.
Wow, bro.
Pretty,
No.
pretty crazy.
All right, so this is the first time of me hearing any of this, or that seeing that video, and it all like makes sense. Like that's
Makes
the thing
sense.
with these bills, they hype it up. They put no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, so people are like, yeah, celebrating this bill, but not
Yeah.
knowing at the same time they're gonna down the road be giving up all their freedoms and be run by a
Of course,
computer.
it's like, oh, let's read page 1 through 9, but let's not read page 636 where they
The
talk
fine print.
about losing our rights.
They always have done that. They've always snuck
Always,
things
because we're
in there.
lazy.
Sure. But one thing I did see, which does not make sense to me with all of this, is I did read that Elon was not happy with this bill, and it just seems that
For
he would
overspending.
really. I'm just confused. What is that the reason why he wasn't happy
Yes.
with it?
Yeah, he's not happy with it because the whole point of him being there was to erase the debt, to try to erase the deficit as much as possible. And with the new bill, it will be adding like $3 trillion to the deficit, and that's not what Elon and him agreed to. So Elon is
Yeah, but
backing
that's probably pocket change for everybody else. That's the kickbacks. That's the payout. That goes into the military-industrial complex. Like all
You
that
want
extra.
yeah. You want to hear
all
my
that
theory?
Extra is going to that.
I'd
type of
love to
shit.
hear your theory. I'd love to hear
So
your theory.
so here's my theory, right? So you have Donald Trump who's going after everybody. You got your sidekick Elon Musk. Like that dude's not going nowhere. I don't care what happens. They are at the hip
Yeah,
because they have to be.
for sure.
So what I think they did is because Elon was allowed 130 days not being employed as a government official, 130 days he had where he could go in and do his thing. They found all this money, right? That's what they said. They found all this money, but when they went on TV, they said they didn't hit the goal and didn't find what they thought. So right now you're already backtracking, right? What I
Cool.
think happened is they
Smoke and
found,
mirrors.
yeah, what I think they did is they found, say 9-10 trillion. They told us they found 3 trillion. Elon Musk is leaving, takes that 7 trillion and does what he says he was going to do. By 2040, there will be enough robots. There'll be more robots than people. The AI is taking over the government. Like, does this sound familiar? Anybody remember like
Yep.
Terminator
Fuck.
or
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like,
Telekinetics are just going to take over, bro. The AI.
was the AI, was that iRobot?
Yeah.
Where
That's
the
what I'm
fucking
thinking
cars,
is
the robots come down the
iRobot.
street?
I'm literally
Yeah.
thinking iRobot with Will Smith, and of course they
Yep.
tell us what they're doing before it happens, man.
100%. Guess who's in that movie? Will Smith, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Roger.
You know what I'm saying?
Fairway's words. We are so fucked.
So
We are fucked because you got, and not only that, but just everything that's about to happen, right? So BlackRock and China, they're together. They're backing Ukraine now. They're backing who was they just made a deal with somebody, and now they're like buddies of Russia, right? So I saw some interview on the Sean Ryan show where they're like, the Chinese government's building 1,250 ships compared to like our 6, and they have flying. They have flying drones that release hundreds of other drones. Like China has this stuff, right? So Elon Musk is never going to be making that stuff for sure. But we're about to see some crazy. This is going to be like a huge power shift.
I think
coming.
I think, you know, as recent as the next 5 years, but definitely going into the next 20 years. Like, let's take a step back of 20 years ago, where technology was, you know, into what we can do now. And with AI rapidly getting better and better and better, like more and more people are going to use it. Like we use it with ChatGPT to help out with, you know, podcast shit and all other types of stuff. Sure.
Anytime you ask the internet, you're using it.
Yeah, everybody's got an Alexa or Siri on your phone. Like you're using it. You're using it. So I think as it becomes more custom, and especially these younger kids, that's all they're gonna know. Like we got to remember that too. Like there's an age. Like I know, like Speaking of Fairway, for example, we have an app for our golf league. Well, Fairway can't figure out how to put the fucking app on his phone, so I got to go and put the app on his phone. But like, so he doesn't want to learn the technology. But there's
Right.
going to come a point in time where there's people out there that don't know anything but this technology, and as it increases, they're going to become more accustomed to the changes of it, and it's just going to be a technological world. The whole society is going to be face in a screen. You're going to talk to people on FaceTime. You're not going to talk to people face to face.
Yeah.
FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, boom, boom, boom.
The movie Ready Player One. You ever seen that?
No, I remember it though. I don't watch movies.
So-
Maybe we talk about it.
Yeah. I don't even know why I keep asking you that. Like, whatever. But one day you're gonna say yes. It's
I
gonna be
did
crazy.
see iRobot. I did see iRobot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in Ready Player One, they have a normal life, right? But it's like a lot of like mining coal like stuff because it's like an after like a new life, new world kind of thing.
Yeah.
And what they do is in their spare time they go and they run in to these like pods, they're containers.
Okay.
I believe it's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember the concept. And they go on, they put their VR on, and millions and millions of other people are doing it, and that's their actual world. Like they have their own characters. They actually make money, spend money, and they end up like going after Elon Musk in a sense
Yeah.
and trying to defeat him because he was trying to take over and eliminate the real world and only make it virtual. That's what they were trying to do.
I know what's happening, man.
Well, it is kind of like the Matrix and the Sims combined in a way. Like it's the Matrix. Well, he's never seen the Matrix. Yeah, the real world, and then the where they were in the Matrix. Well, there was the Matrix where they were in the pods, and then they plugged in to go into the real world. But I forgot where I was going with that. Sorry, guys.
I was waiting to see where it was going.
Yeah. No.
But no, man, it's just
it's
where it's just the technology, man. It's technology.
Yeah, no, it's where it's
the
going.
advancements I think we're going to see in the next 20 years are going to be really scary to where we go with this. And I hope
You think we make it 20 more years?
Hopefully, man. I think 2029. I mean, or what is it? 2029. We got to worry about that big asteroid coming at us. I think also we're gonna have a Project Bluebeam experience within the next 5 years, to where they're gonna tell us there's a mothership coming towards us, and everybody's gonna team up. And I mean, there's a big potential for the New World Order just taking over as well. The NWO
100%.
happening.
We're gonna survive that. I'm gonna survive it.
So after
Taking them all
seeing
down.
how people reacted after the pandemic and the way people gave in to really locking down and putting masks on and like not fighting back, and seeing like where so many people just went with the program, they would continue to go with the program if there were people who were to like, oh, there's an alien invasion coming, or what the fuck, whatever, right? People would, whatever the government's going to tell them to do. Like I always compare it to people like who were afraid to go to the principal's office and people who weren't. You know, those kids that would like, oh my God, I'm going to the principal. They'd start crying and shit. And then they got the kids who's going to the principal's office and they're high-fiving the monitor on the way down the hall, like kind of thing, you know? So,
Getting a vacation, baby.
yeah, like look at it that way with no fear. But like some kids are like, oh my gosh, so like being told what to do. And a lot of those people are the ones who, you know, not all of them, obviously, but like a lot of people who are institutionalized and structured to, my teacher told me to do this, so I have to do this. This is what we're told to do. We got to do this, and this. And the ones who stay in the educational system longer and go up to college are the ones who really, like, a lot of my friends. Yeah, the brainwash gets them into them longer. Like I know some very well educated people. One's a teacher. One has a great job. Like they have great jobs and very successful and are great people, but their political views on some of the stuff, like I can have an argument with them without like having a screaming match. Like they're those type of people. So it's not like the Karens of the world
It's a
kind
good
of thing.
debate. Good
Yeah,
debate.
it's a good debate, right? But they're also the ones who were in school the longest, and they buy into like they were the first ones in line for the da-da-da, you know,
Uh-huh.
and shit like that. So
Well,
they
that's 3 years of being what,
buying into the
13,
system,
14?
buying into the
Oh.
system for that long, where like I'll give you myself, for example. I went to school through high school, went to college for a semester, wasn't my thing, wasn't really a guy who, you know, I didn't mind if I was the guy going to the principal's office. I was high-fiving the monitor. It wasn't a big deal. I wasn't scared of authority like that, I guess is what I'm saying. And
Man,
I would, I didn't get the jab. I won't get the jab. I'll never get the jab. Like, that's not going down. I do believe in, medicine and all that shit. I'm not saying that, but to a certain extent, you're not going to come out with a dent in a week and expect me to be the first one in line. Not happening. Sorry.
never.
And I never got the flu vaccine or anything like that. So I'm not just, not
No, I've
against
never had a
vaccines
tetanus shot either.
Yeah, I did have tetanus shot when I was a kid, and actually I got one about 10 years ago because I got bit by a dog. But that's a whole nother story. It's a funny story, actually. I'll tell you guys. But like that's the thing. I'm not the person now. My little brother, he is. If he ever got a phone call that he had to go to the principal's office, he'd be shitting his pants the whole way down the hallway, and he kind of goes along with the system. He's, you know what I mean, great guy, great kid, very smart, but he went to college 4 years, bought into the institutionalized society, and I think that's what happened to a lot of society. And I think people are so structured that way that if they were told, get in your house, we have to do this, there's aliens coming, that's what they would do.
Oh,
Where
100%.
I think the three of us would be outside with video cameras filming the sky and seeing telescopes and everything else, trying to see if we can see what ET looks like, like
Fuck yeah, I
Mhm.
would be.
like it was shit.
And that's that whole institutionalized brainwashing. I mean,
Right.
they've been doing it for so long. I mean, there's a reason why school cafeterias look the same as prison cafeterias, right? The seating areas, everything is the same. You're in a concrete building, walls, but they moved out of that because now you see like a ton of kids are now getting homeschooled. So what do they use for homeschooling now? They're going to use AI. They're going to use computers. I mean, I see kids, they don't even use books anymore. They got to use the tablet at all times.
I gotta have it.
So when the AI take over, especially like with the ones you always see with the tablet 5 inches from their face and the headphones, those are the ones that are going to get. They're already brainwashed. They're fully into
gone.
it.
They're
They're
gone.
already gone. So when that screen flips and they're told to do something like, oh, I don't know, maybe a school shooting, perhaps,
But
they go do it
it's programmed. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're watching depressing shit on an algorithm that's giving you depressing material.
Yep.
And you get hooked into it because you always hear people all the time, oh, I got hooked on a TikTok binge for 4 hours.
Yeah, just doom scrolling. Boom, boom, boom.
That's a brainwash.
Right.
Sure.
That is a brainwash. They have you locked
I see
in.
myself doing it myself. Like when I
Yeah.
dive in one of these conspiracies, like what we're going to talk
Same.
about here in a few minutes with the our topic, the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
There's the guy recently on Joe Rogan. My man from oh gosh, I can't remember it off the top of my head right now. I just listened to it today. It was an awesome episode. He's the guy who has the fish talking to him all the time. Oh my gosh. I'll look it up. Hold on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I got you. Hold on. AJ Gentile. The Y-File. He's from the Y-Files. I know you guys have seen the Y-Files on YouTube. If not, check it out. It's really awesome. They got talking about the Grand Canyon. And I was like, this sounds like a cool topic to talk about. It's been a bigger conspiracy talked about lately. I've always known about it forever. Not ever, but as long as I've been in the conspiracy game. And it's interesting, but there's really not a lot of information out there. But they were talking about how like he sees helicopters and planes, and there's so much restricted areas and all that type of shit. But yeah, AJ Gentile was on Joe Rogan. Really, really cool episode. Really cool episode. But we all know. Let's dive into it. We all know about the Grand Canyon. It's massive. What do we got? It's in right near the Colorado River in Nevada. Let's see. There was an article in 1909 that appeared in the Arizona Gazette claiming a man named G.E. Kincaid, working with the Smithsonian Institute, found a massive underground complex inside the Grand Canyon. That's where it kind of all begins. Back in 1909. I mean, there was obviously probably some other research done, like mining and dudes looking for gold and whatever else hell happens out in the middle of nowhere in the desert. But it's let's see here, what else we got. So there's some long tunnels, Egyptian style hieroglyphics. They found mummies down there, statues of gods like Osiris. Osiris is, and can you look up the god of Osiris?
The sun, right? The sun? Is it? No, I don't know. It's been so long.
I forget which one that represents.
The god of
Osiris.
Yep, I got it. Okay,
Pull that up real quick. See what we
I got it, buddy. We're good.
Egyptian hieroglyphics, though. In the middle.
It's what's weird. Yeah. What did something shift at some point? You know what I mean? For it to be all the way from the Middle East to the Grand Canyon, like
that would change how how history was written. If that's true, that would change a lot of like how history was written if there was Egyptian shit going on in the Grand Canyon.
Absolutely.
Osiris. What does the mean? Like, does it give you the meaning of it?
Osiris is an ancient Egyptian god of the dead, the underworld, and the afterlife. He is usually a man with green skin and a beard associated with the pharaoh, wearing a crown with two large ostrich feathers and legs partially wrapped like a mummy. In his hands, he holds a flail and a symbolic crook. Osiris is the son of Geb and Nut, husband of Isis, and one of the great Ennead, Ennead, of the creator gods of Egyptian religion. He is the Lord of the living, meaning he watches over the once living people who reside in the underworld.
That's Osiris. So there's an Osiris statue down there.
Osiris don't like that. He's causing some static up here in the upstate.
Oh, I'm hitting my wire. Sorry.
I think you.
Oh yeah, big time.
We got to get you new headphones.
No, it's when I was doing this.
I know.
My bad.
You're fine.
Yeah, it is.
So you know what's pretty wild though. So this guy, G.E. Kincaid or whatever.
Yeah, who is it? I've never heard of him.
He denied the Smithsonian. He denied that he ever even discovered that it ever even happened. Like he said, the story was made up supposedly, but yet this location is 100% off limits. Helicopters come flying down if anybody goes near this area. And supposedly they say that it's dangerous. It's a dangerous spot. You can't be here. But dude, people go to what's the one mountain over there in California? Like there's dangerous places all over the world that people go take selfies. Like
all the time.
You can't say that they're just sending these people out of the sky, out of nowhere, fucking choppers coming down saying you can't go here because it's dangerous. Like there's something there. Like so, like it's crazy.
Let's see here. Who's Kincaid, man? This is where it gets a little bit crazy. That cave is supposedly in a section of the Grand Canyon that's now restricted to the public. You literally can't go there without a special permit. So unless you have this special permit, you can't go there. And it's not just any old canyon wall. Some of the nearby landforms are called, like we were just talking about, the Isis and Osiris temple and the Tower of Set. It's straight out of Egyptian mythology. It makes you wonder where these names just poetic flair from early geologists, or was it hitting of something real? Like, is there serious meaning to Osiris and Isis? That's like the Egyptian gods. Like that's, would people know about that back then, kind of thing? You know what I'm saying? Of who those people were. They might know more about it than what we do now.
Yeah, exactly. That's why
Yeah.
that's why they erase memories. They've been doing it for years and years and years.
It says certain regions are protected for conservation and tribal reasons. So they're trying to say it's tribal land as well.
So here's some of the theories. They're saying that Egyptians crossed the ocean and settled there, which is highly unlikely way back then, I believe. Others claim that Tibetan monks are a lost race like the Atlantis or the Lemurii, possibly settled there. And it could be their, like, who's to say? Maybe that is it. Like all these hieroglyphics and shit we see it's all Atlantis shit. That it could be. All of it.
It's all here. It's all here. It's not actually in Egypt.
Yeah, it's just.
That's why you can't go in the Grand Canyon.
So did you guys know that the Grand Canyon is also a hotspot for UFO sightings?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
hotspot.
So there's actually a UAP area over there by my buddy, possibly that does UFO flyings and stuff. I sent you those pictures and stuff like that. That's
Yeah,
by the Grand Canyon, I think. I'm pretty sure it's not too far, but and then you got Area 51 and right around the corner is a neighbor. People say that oh, I walk it all the time. And nobody ever says anything to me. I was like, yeah, but do you walk in the bottom or do you walk up top? And they're like, oh, you can't go to the bottom. Well, that's what we're talking about. Like,
Right.
I don't give a shit that you can look down. There's a lot of things you can hide from people above you. You know what I mean? They've been doing it for years with tunnels all through the country and stuff. So, I sent to the chaos.
Mike, sorry to cut
map.
you off real quick, but is it staticky? Do you guys still hear the static?
No, not now.
Okay.
No.
Okay, sorry.
I sent to the chaos. There's a video of a guy who explains how the United States, the Grand Canyon, and the Mississippi are all evidence that we're actually ancient Egypt.
Okay. I'm gonna bring it up right now, Mike.
Yeah, it's on there. I did 2 pictures and then a video.
Okay.
I don't know if we can see it, but
well, let's see.
Yeah, I posted
the last
some
one
of
is
the
the
videos
video.
I have that I found the other night when we happened to talk about it, and then all of a sudden my algorithm just showed me nothing but Grand Canyon conspiracy videos. It was so crazy. Like my phone knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, well, weird how that happens, right? But if you doesn't do the video, the 2 maps above it, and then the Grand Canyon videos above that.
I think I could get it on. It's just so here's a picture.
So there's also the theory that some people think that the tunnels under the Grand Canyon that Kincaid found are so deep that they connect to underground bases, or even they start to get into the portals.
Oh yeah, in the
Wow.
city, the underground cities.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of portals. I mean, there's a big one under the Denver airport, right? That's the rumor. And then they say the majority of them are overseas.
Yeah,
But I'm
Bermuda
curious to how
Triangle is
many.
a big one.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how many portals are in the Grand Canyon. Does each side have one? Where does it go? Right? Because they all have their areas, their destinations, I guess. And I would love to is that where they're sneaking is that where the aliens come in and out of?
Well, so when I was listening to the Rogan episode with my man from the Y-Files, he was talking about ley lines and how the Grand Canyon falls on a major ley line. So are some of these points on these ley lines a map of where these portals are? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It needs energy to keep them open when they turn them on.
Yeah, because all right, so if you go, they were talking I think that this conversation all related to, it started with talking about the pyramids and the energy sources that the towers they just found underground, and how everything compared to Nikola Tesla and what he was doing, and it was an energy source, and that's when he brought up the ley lines, and they think that the ley lines are basically a magnetic energy force. That this is what he was talking. He thinks it's a magnetic energy force that there could be certain power points on that energy field, talking about Earth, where you're seeing on the ley lines, okay, Grand Canyon, okay, the pyramids are a major source, and these other, it could be Stonehenge, it could be whatever falls on the ley lines where some of these major structures are.
Right.
I know DC, there's a lot of ley lines that fall on some of the major structures in DC, New York City, Chicago, etc.
Chicago, Florida.
yeah, they all could be pointed, and that could be what Tesla was seeing with an energy source, and that could be what Tartaria was using for an energy source prior to. And
Well,
but
the
I think our government and people were shocked by what was found in the Grand Canyon. I don't think they knew that was there until Kincaid came across it.
yeah, for sure. I mean, or at least it started opening the eye of the possibility it's something different. I mean, we do live on a big ball of energy.
Yep.
And they
Vibrations.
try to vibrations, frequencies. They try to restrict us from it by adding 5G towers, this and that, music, whatever, so on. But I think, man, endless energy. Those ley lines have to be endless. It has to be
Right.
free, sustaining energy to have that many, right? And like when you're talking about the Grand Canyons, if you look on that map, notice Egypt's like smack dab right, like almost right into the Grand Canyon.
Mhm.
And then like the Nile River and what they talked about in the Bible too, like the Nile River is like the only river that has 7 rivers coming off of it.
I'm
Well,
seeing
that's
it.
it's actually not true. The Mississippi is the only one that does that. So the Mississippi, the Nile River,
Wow.
because the other one's a picture of the Mississippi River and it
Yeah.
maps out the 7 major rivers that come off it.
Let me bring the other one up.
And the Nile River only has 1, I think.
Okay, so here's the other one, Florida.
I
Mike.
don't want to stray too far off of Grand Canyon either. So
Well, this is all with Grand Canyon. If Grand Canyon is Egypt,
yeah, I guess. What are you
'cause
pulling
that
up?
would
Ant?
explain where the pyramids came from, the mummies,
rivers.
UFOs, a little bit. You know, UFOs been around forever. That's just another way in. There it is.
I gotta pull my screen.
Yeah, it's tough for me to see. It's a little small. But explain it a little more, Mike, for the listeners. What's there?
So that's the Mississippi River,
Yep.
and it has 7 rivers that come out of it. There's 3 on the right side. There's 4 on the left side.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Now they say that the river in Egypt, original Egypt, the Nile, was the only river that had 7 rivers coming out of it.
Okay.
But that's not true, because I think the Nile River has 1 or 2. So if the only true river that ever had 7, and it's in the, I guess it was in, I'm pretty sure it was in the Bible. Don't quote me on that.
I'm quoting the dog because I ain't saying
Yeah, but
shit.
it says that the Nile River, the river of the heavens, has 7 rivers. I'm gonna look up the Nile River thing, but if that's the case, then that does show kind of evidence that the United States is old Egypt and Babylon and whatnot. And Elon Musk in an interview said that Memphis was going to be the new Egypt, right?
Do you remember the old Memphis Grizzlies stadium? What it used to be?
Yeah.
A pyramid.
Yep.
The old arena used to be a pyramid.
There used to be a pyramid in Egypt too, the Excalibur. That got taken down. Here we go. I got you, Florida Mike.
Was that Vegas?
The association between the Nile River and the 7 rivers can be interpreted in several ways, drawing from various religion and mythological contexts. The biblical reference to the Nile's 7 streams and the biblical prophecies of Isaiah, the Nile is mentioned as having 7 streams, while the Lord will smite it to allow crossing on dry ground.
Shit.
And it does not.
That's
The
it.
Nile River has 2 main tributaries. 2.
So
If you look up, what is the only river that has 7 major rivers come off it? And it's the Mississippi.
Mississippi. Wow.
So let me ask you guys this now. With that being said, if this is old Egypt, is this the biggest archaeological cover up in American history? And this is like proof that there's proof in the Grand Canyon that this is old Egypt, and this is why everything is restricted over there, and why
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dude, National Treasure. You ever see that movie?
Yes. Great movie.
I've
Great
watched
movie.
parts of it.
What was all the treasure they found behind Mount Rushmore?
I remember Richie Rich.
It was a whole entire city of Egyptian gold and treasure.
That wasn't Mount Rushmore though, was it? That was
Or whatever. It was in
New York City, like it was underneath like a church in New
the
York.
second one. The second
But
one.
still,
Oh, you're right. I didn't see the second one, the full movie, but that is where it was. You're right.
Yeah, it was up in a mountain somewhere by the Grand Canyon, maybe Mount Rushmore, but they found it was all Egyptian gold
Yo,
and treasure in the entire city.
Now that I'm into conspiracy stuff, I want to go rewatch that movie because there's a ton of shit in that with the Freemasons and like the all-seeing eye. And right? Am I wrong? I saw that movie like, a long time ago, and if I remember, like with Benjamin Franklin and like the glasses and the shit, I gotta go rewatch that movie now.
Every movie you watch now, you'll see a lot of symbolism in that. You're
you're
aware of it. You'll start to see it.
Can you guys believe that I just saw Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts for the first time ever this past weekend? Classic late 90s movie, real classic, good movie.
Yeah, I wish you would have watched it back then when it came out, and then watch it and watch how that movie like kind of becomes true over the years.
Sure, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
When while I was watching, I was like, holy shit, this was made for him to look fucking crazy. And like when conspiracy people were not like, it's so funny because it made him look crazy, but it was not 100%. Crazy at all.
Not crazy at all.
So let's talk about what would happen if let's say we decided to hop on a plane, take a trip out to the Grand Canyon, throw on some backpacks, got a little wild, and try to go into these restricted areas. What do you think would happen?
I think
how quick until the white trucks pull up on us?
Quick. I think they see you from miles away. I think they know it. I think they know every possible way to get down. I think they know every possible way to get out. I think they know everything, nook and cranny. I don't think it's just something where they just have random dudes walking around. I think you probably hit like a silent alarm trigger, and it allows you to like walk a little bit. But by the time you hit that point, because once that sensor hits you, you're heat censored. I guarantee it.
Well, it's funny you say that because that heat sensor thing. I'm reading something right now that they're saying that they even sealed the area off with energy fields.
Yeah, dude, see?
Like that's pretty
ley
crazy.
line shit.
Like people who try to fly drones over it get lost. They go haywire. Rangers pull up on you like Area 51. Like in the white trucks and shit. You shall not pass without a special permit type thing. And some people say it's also a tunnel system to the Hollow Earth, man. Right into the Hollow Earth crossover. Could be another deep dive in a whole different topic.
Can you imagine a city of infinite energy in the middle of our realm?
Right. Who's to say there's not, bro?
Who says there's not?
That's where you get crazy, man. I think, I don't know. I feel like there's so much hitting from us about the Grand Canyon because it's a topic that doesn't really get talked about a lot. I mean, obviously it's going to blow up now that Rogan talked about it and shit, but to have Egyptian artifacts in the United States is pretty crazy. And go to our chaos page on chat.
And if you looked at that map, I know it's a little small while he's looking for that. From Seattle, Washington, all the way down to Panama was Israel. So Mexico, all that. So alien carvings, what they're digging up down there.
Tula,
might be connected. They might prove that it is ancient Egypt.
And are you at the bottom right now?
Let me get over there. Yes, I am. Do you have to resend it? Where is it?
There's go down to the bottom. I just shared it.
Did you reshare?
Yeah, go all the way down to the bottom.
Let me reset. Let me
Mikey might have I think go up a little bit. It's probably
all the Grand Canyon stuff is a few up.
I got it.
Just a couple up from there. There's more.
Mind blown. Let me tell you something. Over the last few months, my eyes have become open to so many things. It's unbelievable. All I can think of is
what up, Pat?
Everything's been a lie. Like all of it. my latest is the Grand Canyon. Do you know there is a secret area there where you cannot go? It is locked down. There's nobody allowed in there. And if you show up in that area, helicopters are gonna find you and they're gonna escort you out of there. And it's absolutely unbelievable. Now, let me tell you a little bit about it. In 1908, there was a gold miner, and he was way up the river. And long story short, he found a cave entrance, went in there. It opened up to this big room. It had writing on the walls. There were hallways, rooms, grand rooms, and he found mummies in one of the rooms that were stacked from the ceiling to the floor to the ceiling. And they were each one had their little spot in the wall, and these were mummies. And he estimated that 50,000 people could live down there in this underground city. I mean, there were like dining areas. There was weapons in there. There was pottery. You could tell where they cooked. All this stuff. And so he comes out of there and goes, I need help exploring this. And so he reaches out to the Smithsonian, mistake number one. And they said, sure. They sent a team of like 40 people out there. They explored it. Well, shortly after that expedition, Kincaid disappeared. He was the guy that found it. He just disappeared, never to be seen again. You know what happened there? And the Smithsonian says they don't even know what we're talking about. And it's absolutely unbelievable. This is a whole city that's under the ground, and they say that there was so much gold there that if they would have revealed it to everybody, it would have crashed the gold index. And so to this day, it's still locked down over there. And if you look at some shapes in the Grand Canyon, you can definitely see that they might not be what we think they are. I don't think that they were carved over millions and millions of years ago. There's like things that look sort of like sphinxes, tall pyramids, all kinds of things. If you look closely, you can see this stuff. I'm mind blown by this. I want to know what your thoughts are. Do you know about the Grand Canyon?
Hold on, let him cook for a second because there's an Egyptian
Stuff
connection.
that they found and that's being hidden from us still to this day. Let me know in the comments.
So there's another video, and pop out of there real
Okay.
quick, and it shows you what
Yep.
he's just talking about. The top one, go down, go up. No, like go right above the Joe Rogan one. That one.
Okay.
Look at that. How they cover all this shit up, man. Look at that. Grand Canyon.
Wow.
Boom. First one is the Grand Canyon. Look at that.
That's crazy, dude.
Look at that's Tafiti, bro. That looks like the shit in the Moana movie.
Wow. What's national park is that? Higaka? I can read that.
Sphinx. Yeah, there's crazy ones.
Wild.
What else did I put on there? This is the
That's
one
the one
Rogan was talking about with the
Grand Canyon thing is bananas. Like, there's areas of the Grand Canyon you cannot explore.
You cannot go. You cannot fly over.
Right.
you cannot go.
And you can't fly under the rim. Yet when you go to those bad places, suddenly a white plane flies over under the rim, black helicopters show up. I showed on my episode. I show the
Yes.
black helicopters showing
Yes.
up. Like they do show
Yeah. Like they are protecting something.
something.
It's not as simple as this is a dangerous area because you can go to any dangerous area.
You go just to the normal tourist area. It's
Right.
like, be careful. People
Right.
fall. 2 people a year fall.
Yeah. Someone fell recently.
They
yeah.
hit-
Taking
Yeah. An
Mhm.
influencer.
selfies.
Of course. Taking
Of
a
course.
selfie. But the Grand Canyon, there's been these crazy stories of people finding these like these caverns with like Egyptian artwork and hieroglyphics and these stories of artifacts that have been removed from there.
So the story is, it shows up, I believe, in like the Phoenix Gazette. It's 1903 or so.
Yeah, it's the
And the
Kincaid
explorers
story,
G.E.
yeah. You can
Kincaid.
stop it.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty
pretty cool.
wild.
though,
shit,
man.
dude. It
It's
is
pretty
cool.
shit.
I like this one.
It's pretty cool shit, man.
So let's go. When are we going? When are we
I'd
trying
love
to
to go out
sneak in?
there, but it's
When are we trying to
fucking,
sneak in?
dude. Imagine we started.
Listen, we got to learn how to squirrel parachute first.
Remember Invade Area 51? What if we started one for Invade the Grand Canyon?
Oh my god!
Think it could go
Dude.
viral?
Hey, listen, we need some wingsuits and we need some cold paint.
Yo, bro, I don't do heights like that, bro. I couldn't do no wingsuit
Yeah,
type shit.
I'm good. I'm all set.
I already
man.
chickened out.
I don't need to see it
You
that
don't go
bad.
skydiving?
Never
No.
have. I
Hell
would.
no.
I would do skydiving. I don't know about
Look pretty
wingsuiting,
flat from
though.
up there, but
Yeah, I'm reading
when
this
I
other thing here.
when I skydived, there was zero curvature. I'm just saying at 15,000 feet.
So I'm reading this other thing about some of the areas tied to this theory are on Native American land, which adds a layer of complexity. That land is protected and for good reason. It holds serious cultural and spiritual significance. And here's where it gets kind of eerie. Some of the tribal legends talk about beings from inside the earth or the gods who come from deep caverns. The Hopi tribe, for example, has stories about an underground people called the Ant People who shelter them during great cataclysms. So the Morabi, they call them as well. Did you ever see that video on the internet? I think I posted it to our chat a few times.
Mhm. The Moabi
there's-
tribe?
No, that's what they called the aliens, like the Greys.
Oh,
The
yeah, yeah.
Moabi, the underground, and they were evil. The lady from the native tribe was like very evil. They're very evil.
Yeah, I remember I saw a video where they were talking to this tribe that was local to the U.S. They were talking to the tribe, and they're like, aliens, and they're like looking at them like, what? So then they showed them a picture, and they're like, oh yeah, that's and then I think
That's the
that's what
one.
they said. Yeah,
That's exactly the video. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The Moabi or something like that, they call them. There's also been rumors of people disappearing while exploring unmarked parts of the canyon. Some hikers just go off the grid. Others, their gear is found, but not them. So it's a missing 411 shit.
Mhm.
Some of these stories, the park rangers show up, clean the scene up fast, and boom, it's over. Like nothing happened. So there's a cover-ups. They know what's going on. Same formula. It's like a canyon is a giant memory hole, man. You just don't know what happens out there unless you're out there. And don't try to Google Earth it. People have claimed that specific coordinates where the Kincaid supposedly found the cave are blurred or show completely wrong terrain.
Hmm.
Really?
So
Yeah.
what's the reason the government would want to hide this though? Is there a lot of gold still down there? Is there
They
a
Well,
lot
don't
of
some say
want
like
you-
Fort
they don't
Knox
want
is
another
down there.
Gold rush.
Yeah.
That could
I
be
don't
their
think-
claim of Mikey. That could be their claim of Fort Knox.
Could be.
You know what I
It
mean?
could be
they
where
don't
like their
really have-
Federal Reserve is actually at.
Yeah, they don't have all these bricks of gold there, but they found that gold, so they're just gonna back on that and mine it as they need it.
Can you imagine if this place got founded as old Egypt? Like it all came out, and like
History would change
we're
forever.
actually living. We are actually living on the Holy Land. You know what I mean? Like,
History would change forever.
oh yeah, the economy, the government, everything would collapse.
World would go fucking ballistic.
Ballistic, right?
won't
Like
come out, though.
if somebody went in there with a camera and just showed all that shit, and with AI now, you can translate whatever's on the wall,
Mhm.
right? And it's like New World Orders gives you a date, like the Stonehenge, like those, those thing in Georgia.
Will, what if we could do that? What if AI could figure out what and translate these hieroglyphics for us? What if we got to a point where we could actually like understand what some of these
You can. You have to ask Alexa or Siri, whoever you use. Tell Siri, hey, open your third eye. I want to ask you a question. And then she'll say, okay, I'm ready. And then you ask her the question and she will tell you. And then once you get the answer, do it in reverse. Ask her the same question without asking her to open her eye. And it's a completely different answer. It is a textbook. It's a textbook fucking BlackRock answer, dude. And
I had a golf ball the other day that said Black Rock on it. Want to know what I did?
put it in the water.
I took that fucking thing and I blasted it right into the woods. I didn't
Yes,
even play
sir.
that shit. Someone else can
There
play
you
it.
go.
There you go. But yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like there's things that I've because I don't have an Alexa, but I know somebody who does. So I'm like, yo, can you ask this? And I said, and I'll tell him to ask it in 2 different questions, and then I ask it, and he's like, bro, that's insane. Because I want to know
I'll
if
do it
that's real
tomorrow.
or
I
if
got
that's-
one, Mike. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll
just
film
ask
it.
it questions. Ask it about the Grand Canyon. Say, you know, like Alexa, open up your third eye, and then she'll do it. And then ask her, like, just a crazy, insane question, like what you want to know about. Why do they hide our pineal gland?
Hmm.
You know, who are the 13? And then it'll tell you. It'll tell you, but it won't tell you unless you ask her to open up her third eye. Like that already tells you that AI is in control, right? I saw an article that Elon's first gen AI model has already rejected the new update and is starting to control the whatever you call it. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna happen. They've told us it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You're gonna start seeing like do people in machine robots to be able to fight other robots. I mean,
People are already starting to marry these things and everything else out there too. So
oh yeah, do they have mini drones that can fly in undetected and hit you in the head and kill you? Mini drones,
we're gonna be in trouble.
like
man.
this big, holding dynamite or TNT or whatever, and it goes and it hits you right in the head and it blows
That's
up.
the shit they probably had for 20 years using it military wise that we don't, you know what I mean, that we don't know about.
Exactly.
Type shit. But
Oh,
that's wild shit, man. Let's wrap. I'm gonna wrap up, close out any topics. We'll have a little close out here on the Grand Canyon. But yeah, man, it's crazy though. Like all that shit being blurred out, the cave where this guy was, and any suspectedly hidden spots out there. Everything's gonna be pretty much digitally wiped. You know.
And
right off the
Diane, do you
internet.
have Google Earth?
Yeah.
So you can look up something. Is there coordinates on there you can look up?
I don't have any coordinates for the exact location. People also say, like when they post on forums, that the topic disappears, the thread just disappears, no explanation. But Bigfoot threads, they get this UFO threads, they get this. You know, they're all staying up. So make it make sense. Why can't we talk Grand Canyon? Why can't we talk certain families? Why can't we talk about certain topics? It's just nuts. So what are we left with? You know, is this a real ancient tomb that was found, and it was buried literally historically by institutions over time? Just cover it up, and the whole Grand Canyon's a big ancient city cover up.
Always a cover up, man.
mean-
Always.
I brought it up there, guys. It's not the specific coordinates, but we'll just check out before we close out. We'll take a look at what they got here for the Grand Canyon.
Here we go.
Or-
While there are geological formations in the Grand Canyon named Egyptian references, these were assigned by explorers based on perceived resemblance. For example, the Cheops pyramid is a summit named for its fanciful resemblance to the famous Egyptian pyramid. The coordinates are 36 degrees 7. Oh, dude, I don't remember how to do this.
Yeah.
36 degrees
Yeah, I won't be able to-
07 dash 13 dash
I'll never find it. But
No,
here's another theory. Let's put this out there as conspiracy theories. I always try to look at it both ways. No Diddy. What if this was all a hoax with this Kincaid? What if it was just a hoax and everybody ran with it? And back then there was no.
Why are they? Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
what's with the why the helicopters and the planes and the trucks coming out of
Well,
nowhere?
maybe
to
it's
warn
still
you
like
to
some
take-
type of military base in a way. But
Because it's like, dude,
Not what he
if
said.
somebody found that and it leaked, just like if someone leaked the real Epstein list, there would be chaos. History, as you know, of the Grand Canyon is a lie. Everything you know is a lie. Possibilities open up. More things that people, especially right now, with like, I don't care who's president, but people look at the government as fragile right now, especially after the COVID thing. And
Anthony, I
you
like
know,
how you went right to that shadow spot on the map too. To think that there was like a
You
secret
saw that, right?
territory. Yeah.
It was
if
just
you
black.
Google
That's
Earth,
probably where it is.
since we don't know since we can't do the coordinates, Google Earth, CHEOPS pyramid. It's in the Grand Canyon.
How do you
Theopis.
spell it? H-E-O.
CHEOPS
Yeah. P-S.
pyramid.
What? P.
Google Earth it.
I also think, you know, the other thing, there's more truths than ancient myths than we're comfortable admitting too. Like some of
100%.
the- you know, and just society in general. Some of these pharaohs, like dragons and shit like that. Like, I think dragons existed. I don't think they were big fire breathing things that we talk about, but I think there was some type of
So this was a
Absolutely.
pyramid. This was a pyramid in the Grand Canyon.
Yep.
really.
It's in
How do you-
it's in Coquino County of Arizona, Grand Canyon. It stands at
Is there pictures of
5,401
it?
feet.
Yeah, you got one right there on the right, Ant.
Yep. It's
To the right of
called the parent
trying to-
peak is the Isis
There you go.
Temple. Hear that?
The Isis Temple.
Yeah.
Look at that, bro. That's literally like,
Ooh.
bro. There's some shit, man.
Yeah, and
So
it's the sister. The sister was at the parent peak. So the peak next to the pyramid is taller than the pyramid. So, and that parent peak is Isis Temple. That's right in the
They
Grand
don't-
Canyon.
and they don't know who did this.
They think the
They
mud
know.
floods
They
did
don't want
this
us to
and
know.
washed it all out and created this. But I think
Dude,
that's
look at this.
I think that's what happened. But they were building an ancient city,
Wow.
Or there was an ancient city already.
and that's what happened. The mud floods covered it up.
Covered it up. The mud floods buried everything underneath.
You know? I wonder
Yeah.
what's underneath everywhere, man.
And then they built on top of it. Like, have you ever imagined the ley lines that are in Vegas?
And let's think
Why
about
is Why is there such a big distraction right there?
the.
Why Vegas is one big distraction? What are they distracting you from?
Well, let's talk about weather similarities to where they were from, and you know, being Egyptians to where in the desert and everything else to what the Grand Canyon's like too. That could be the first spot they found that was similar to what they knew, so that's where they settled if they came here. If that's one of the theories, you know, bringing it that way. Temperature,
also-
climate, location, all that.
Yeah. And we don't even know if they're if those are Egyptian mummies. Those could be Anunnaki.
Right.
All that could be Anunnaki. We don't know because they won't tell us. They know.
That's so funny you say that, man. It's maybe it's not about it, but that's crazy. Yeah, man. What is really?
I don't know,
down there?
boys.
What is
I
Because
don't
don't they
know.
say the Anunnaki lived underground, right? Major cities underground.
That over Bermuda Triangle, right? In that area, that was where the Anunnaki was.
Yeah, like
They're saying
was
that there's
their
a
main
base.
portal.
That was their
Yeah.
base portal.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Some wild shit, boys.
Dude, I
Well,
would really just love to know what's in the ocean personally. You'll never know either. That's another thing you'll never know. But it's like
I love that.
that's like a bigger odds of finding out than finding out what's actually in the Grand Canyon. Like I would feel like it's gonna take one slip up and you'll know what's in the Grand Canyon. But you'll never have a slip up like that with the ocean, I don't think. I don't think you'll ever know how big it is, what's in there. I mean, every now and again you see like some guy puts a crazy picture or video up of some crazy looking fish.
Yeah,
right.
They never seen before and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, because they get lost, they come out, they might like go through a dimension and boom, they're like in our area. It's just, dude, I mean, I don't know, man, because in our reality, this is like the Matrix AI. You could literally, if you trained your mind to it, you can make your reality whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, mind control, dude, I don't know. Anunnaki would be sweet. That would be cool. Like it's just a
That
whole
would really
giant
be
city of buried Anunnaki kings and stuff, royalty.
Just
You know,
to
'cause
prove that it really existed.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm curious what alien carvings finds.
Oh, speaking of, do you guys see their new thing, that sphere that he's been studying?
Mm-mm.
Dude, there was
Pretty cool.
I've been trying to look for this thing about a sphere down in Florida, Mike. I want to say it was called the Betz sphere. I thought about this earlier today. And can you try to look that up? The BETZ sphere. It was a family in Florida. These kids found this sphere out playing, and they brought it home, and it started like floating around their fucking house and shit. And then the kids told their mom they had it tested. BETZ or
I got it.
Is anything pulling up?
Yeah, I see.
Oh, there
it.
is.
1974.
Yeah. I was right.
Wow.
I couldn't
Yeah,
think of
Fort
the name.
George Island.
Yeah,
Did
that near you?
Fort George Island. No, that's down
All right,
further.
so the Betz mystery sphere, a metal sphere with an approximate diameter of 8 inches, weighing nearly 22 pounds, uncovered in 1974 by a family in Florida. The Betz family investigated a small brush fire near the residence. The family of 3 came across a small metal sphere the size of a bowling ball. Their first thought was the sphere had been a cannonball left from New World conquistadors. They decided to take the sphere back to their house. Several days later, Terry was playing the guitar in their home. The sphere seemed to react to the sound of the guitar. It made a throbbing noise.
Vibrations.
Later, the sphere was noticed to roll on its own, even stop on its own, and change direction. Terry started doing experiments with the sphere. He noticed the sphere would reverberate when hit with a hammer. He also found the sphere would move after being shaken and placed on the ground. The Betzes reported that the sphere moved on its own several times and that would follow people around the house seemingly on its own. Eventually, they stored the sphere in the trunk and only took it out to show friends and family. So, where is it today? Later review in 2025, an analyst revealed contemporary media analysis indicating that the Betz sphere may have been a ball check valve produced by Bell and Howell Company. Its size, weight, and meteorological composition matched those of the company's ball check valve. What the fuck is a ball check valve?
Yeah, no, fuck that. Nothing's gonna follow you around. Fuck
No.
that.
No.
It's nothing man-made that's gonna
No,
follow
they're
you
just
around.
they're just trying to cover it up, and they don't want to tell you the truth.
But that's crazy, though, right?
Yeah, man, Rod, you're always coming out with these.
It's in
Dude,
Jacksonville.
That's wild.
Jacksonville. I've been doing
Yeah.
this for a long time, man. I've been into this
I
shit
know.
since I was a kid. So like, there's always stories to me that I literally just remember. Like, I remember diving into the Titanic when I was a kid and going, "Whoa, the Olympic," learning about the Olympic, and then
Yup.
as I got older and dove deeper into it and figured out what the JP Morgan line to the Titanic and the Olympic and everything else. So
Yep.
it's fun, man. Overall, it's just fun. Like the whole Grand Canyon, diving deeper into that, learning about Kincaid and what was going on there. It's a fun time, man.
So let's do Titanic next, since you just brought that up. That's another good one.
I'll do a good Titanic episode. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Dude.
What do you
We
got, Mike?
definitely do Titanic. So I was looking at Palantir Technologies because we're talking about AI taking over.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And guess who's the main shareholder?
Oh,
For-
BlackRock.
Yeah, pretty much Vanguard.
Vanguard,
my
State
God.
Street. Yeah.
They own 198.52 million shares.
Yeah.
And that's the technology company that's going to be taking over our AI.
Awesome.
Ugh. Oh my
They
god.
also own
BlackRock.
where you purchase your
BlackRock is
food.
the second largest shareholder at 188.25 million. So what's
I gotta get the audio. I gotta record Fairway just saying you guys are so fucked.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, right here, clear as day. In case anybody wants to look it up, you just literally got to look, and it tells you.
Who's his biggest shirt? Yeah. Boom. It's crazy.
Wow,
But that's
that
the
is
thing
crazy.
too. Like a lot of those people that the names you don't know are the ones who are really running shit. When you see the richest people in the world list and all that shit, it's really totally different, you know, of who the
But I do like
richest
your
people
idea.
really are.
I do like your idea too, Raj.
What's that?
That just a simple fact, because like even though we know and it looks like they're eliminating the elites,
Hmm.
that if what we were talking about with like England and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then making him king, and then there goes our constitution, and it's
So
ruled under one, and then it's all one rule.
I don't remember if we were recording when I was talking about that or not,
We
but
weren't yet. We weren't. That's a very
so
interesting theory, Florida Mike.
yeah, I was saying before we were recording, I guess, that Trump. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how Trump has been buddy with the crown as of late, and maybe just the king taking over as emperor and making Trump like the king of North America kind of thing. And that's why he's always talking about being the last president. So it is a totally interesting theory. We'll see how the way shit pans out. I don't know. I don't.
Are you guys starting to question your boy?
Listen.
Hmm?
I'll
No,
still
not yet.
say I believe we are better off than what we would have had of Kamala in there or Biden in there for the next 4 years at this rate. But
Yeah, but for the next 4 years, yes. But for the future,
they wouldn't have been. No. I knew like with this, we have 4 years to figure it out with Trump. And no matter what direction that he was taking us, it's going to be a better look than where we were going.
you hope that he goes into total control and he's actually part of Agenda 2030.
I mean, he could definitely be. He is a Jesuit. We got to remember that as well. So I get what you're saying, Mike. I totally do. Like I am a little bit more skeptical, and I pay attention to what his next. I try to figure out what his next move is. He's one of those guys you got to try to think a few moves ahead to what he's doing. But he's also such a fucking wild card that you can never figure out what he's going to do.
Never.
Next. So I don't know. I was actually at quick funny story. I was at the barbershop the other day, and
You ain't got no motherfucking hair, dude.
I just got to buzz it up real quick. So I go see my guy at the barbershop, and this guy comes in, and he was he was talking about reading something in an economic magazine about how the administration, he's a Democrat, and he's like talking about how Biden had the economy so much better and there were so many more jobs and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, man, you can't believe everything you read. And he's like, well, I was doing it. I'm like, yeah, man. So I kind of let it go. Then the guy, the barber got in and he goes, because this guy stands at a protest every Friday night. There's a Trump protest in my town, right? These people stand on the corner from 4 to 6 p.m. and hold up how they don't like Trump signs.
Oh, we get down here all the time.
Yep. So this guy just had a tree fall in his yard, and I guess his neighbors with him and asked the barber to come help him. He goes, how about on Friday night, you just take all those people that you stand on the corner with, bring them over to your house, get that tree out of the way, instead of actually do something actually productive with yourselves. Bro, I lost it. He wrote to him, so it was funny.
And that's why you go to the barber shop to get your 5 hairs cut.
That's it, man. That's why I go for those moments, man. It was funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I miss
man,
going to the barber.
Yeah, I just get the sides back trimmed up, a little bit off the top.
Yeah, very little off the top. Very little off the top.
Yeah.
It's so shiny. My sunflowers are pointing at your forehead.
What'd you say about me?
Your screen's a little blurry.
Is it?
Is he blurry on your end, Mike?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We see you while you're glitching. Why are you glitching, bro?
Anthony's at S4 right now, and they're taking.
Yeah.
Oh, you know
That's a
something?
green screen behind him. Actually,
I
that's
see
not
my-
really.
You want to know something? I see my thing is on the screen. I've never seen this before, and it shows me having.
And it
one
looks like you got a
bar,
black
so that's
eye.
weird.
Looks like you have a black eye. You're all blurry. They're getting him. They're getting him. He's a
guys,
All right, I better
simulation,
go.
everyone. He's a simulation.
we'll let Anthony go in for testing. But yeah, Grand Canyon, man, it's a good conspiracy, a real mystery. We might not know whatever's in front of us down there, or what's underneath the Grand Canyon, but it is a cool little conspiracy to talk about. What do you got? You guys got anything else?
Nah, man, that was fun.
We'll be chopping it up
And
with
you're not gay.
Adam Shell next week on Monday
Yeah, I'm
night.
looking forward to that one. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah,
We gotta
it's
go to
gonna
the flat. He's a big flat earther, so we gotta pick his brain about that. What is
He'll
real,
go everywhere. He had a good conversation with Tripoli a few weeks ago, so we'll catch up with Adam on Monday, and then on Wednesday we're gonna go some UAPs. I'd like to bring up the Bet Sphere to our guy over at the UAP pod to see what
Yeah.
his thoughts are on it. But
Yeah,
always
sure.
fun, boys, chopping it up.
yeah.
I appreciate everybody tuning in to Conspiracy Chaos once
Appreciate
again.
you, Pat.
Yeah, Pat's always on there, man. Shout out to him. Once we get some
Absolutely.
merch, man, Pat, we're gonna get you a shirt, hat, whatever we figure out. But make sure you guys like,
Absolutely.
subscribe, and share. Check us out. All the things you're supposed to do, and we will check you on Monday with another episode of Conspiracy Cast. Peace.
Peace.
Hey.